back to 3 Degrees of Love Divination. So I want to thank you for joining me today, whether or not you're happen to be catching it live with me, or if you are watching this on playback. Today, of course, I wanted to do a tarot activity from the Tarot Activity book here by Drea Bloom, published under Andy Matzner. Of course, today, today being October 9th, it's the day before Global Mental Health Day. And again, with the significance of 10 and with tomorrow being 10/10, that's an entirely another portal. And so, as we are journeying forward, doing the healing work, really going within and doing the shadow work and stuff like that, we are looking to break cycles and make changes, so that we are raising the frequency and being better people for it. So, okay, so and of course the deck that I wanted to use for this exercise is the Lithra Tarot. This is something that this was like I said, hashtag Robin made me do it, from Robin Reflections. Of course, she did a walkthrough of this deck. And if you haven't seen my latest video, which I dropped today, it's featuring some of the decks that I'm currently working with, some of the new acquired decks. Hi, welcome. Hi, Dakota. Thank you for being here. And also there was I did do a really more sort of extensive dive into the Mindful Wildflower set. So hi, thank you for coming in. Well, yes, I am. I am a neurodivergent empath, a Hoyoka empath, actually, more specifically. I am a social worker, and I do read tarot. So that's what we're doing here today. Like I said, it is, we're on the eve of Global Mental Health Day. Oh, well, that's very good. I'm glad to hear that that at least you're working, and that I hope that you are taking the necessary time to decompress when you have that opportunity. So, anyways, so the Mindful Wildflower, this was the deck that, if you haven't seen the, along with the journal, that I just sort of reviewed, and we'll be doing a deeper dive into this whole thing, and how all the stuff that came with it is falling out of the book. Sorry. Whoops. Yeah, so anyway, but the activity that I wanted to do with you guys today, from the Tarot Activity book, let me just find it, give me a second, is this one. It's called The Journey. So if you haven't seen the interview that I did with Drea regarding this book, and some of the other books that she already has out, I would definitely take a gander on my channel. This is a book that's written by psychotherapist Drea Bloom, who also reads tarot and combines tarot in therapy sessions. So, um, okay, if that's what you think, sure. Very nice. I definitely will say that if you that's a hard job. Being an EMT and a fireman, I want to thank you for your service. And I hope that you are definitely have an outlet for yourself when it comes to um, managing your own mental health and mental wellness, because a job like that is not an easy one, especially being of service to many people within the community. So yeah. um but let's see, hold on, let's see what's that. Okay, well, it's okay, that's okay. Anyways, so um let's go through the journey. By the way, my path, even spirituality, is originally I do I am baptized and raised as a Catholic, as a Christian, but I choose to expand my spirituality um, because there is so much to understanding spirituality that goes so far beyond the Bible, that goes so far beyond even what we've been taught. Um, and like it's such a wormhole. Um, really, how do you figure? How do you figure or even know? You don't know me. So if that's not what you, oh, well, that's great for you. That's your experience. So we're going to move on from that. And if you want to continue on that path, then you can. It's your choice. Um. So anyhow, um. Okay, so the exercise here today is the journey, the objective to imagine where a path or road leads. Background. Okay. Paths and roads are rich symbols like a bridge. They connect people with places, but across the land instead of the water. Sometimes roads and paths are important because of what they lead you away from. Other times, their significance lies in what they lead you towards. It is important to note that there is a difference between a road and a path. We often think of a road as being paved, so as to be used by motorized vehicles, while a path is a track that has been created through the continual threading of humans and slash or animals. Roads and paths are also connected to movement, exploration, and development. They can also refer to a way of life or thinking, for example, following a path of violence or virtue. There are a number of metaphors in English that contain road or path. So some of those are things like we have things like on the road again, on the straight and narrow path, a road to nowhere, the path of enlightenment, the road less traveled, a well-worn path, the long and winding road, a dead-end street, a rocky road, take the high road or the low road, a path with heart, it's the end of the road, to be on the war path, to be on a path to peace. So this activity here is really basically calling for us to consider all of these quotes separately, first and foremost. Pick the ones that resonate most for you. Copy them into your journal. And then once that's done, spend some time writing about exactly why you chose the ones you did. So, for me, I would say if I pick a couple from here, it would be to be on a path to peace, taking the high road or the low road, and a path with heart. So those are the three that I really chose. I'm choosing rather at this point to sort of really reflect on and figure out what exactly that means. So when I think about taking the high road or the low road, to me that really screams to the understanding of what I've been talking about in my various videos to date, where I speak about the vibrations, high vibrational, low vibrational, and high frequency, low frequency, and what that really looks like. So to me, the idea of when you're taking the high road, it means that you are doing the self-reflection. You are going within to commune with your feelings, right? And you're looking to take a responsive path rather than a reactive one. So that's what, when I hear that term, that's what I think about, right? Even a path with heart. So again, we are vibrating on the frequency of love, right? Which is known as being the highest frequency and known to exist, right? It's where we all come from. It's the frequency of path where all great leaders, Jesus, Gandhi, Malcolm X, that those that have that that servitude to community, that leadership abilities, that have their own spiritual intellect and knowledge, right? So that's what I think about when it comes to a path with heart. stepping into leadership, leading with integrity, leading with understanding of self and others, um, and leading with your heart space, right? And then the last one, to be on a path to peace. Well, to me, that again, that sort of speaks to the idea of the healing journey, right? And walking that intentional path to enlightenment. Okay, so um, for the next part of this first activity, um, please choose one of the quotes to incorporate into a piece of art. You could simply let the quote be your inspiration, or you could copy the quote itself onto a large piece of paper and then decorate around it. I would like you to go through your tarot deck and decide which of your cards, one or more, you would like to incorporate into the artwork. Think about the tarot imagery that best connects to the essence of the quotation which you choose. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do here, or what I'm going to do rather with you is, okay. So this tarot deck that I have chosen for this exercise and that I have briefly flipped through is the, like I said, the Lithra Tarot. Now this is a tarot deck that has absolutely no numbers. Okay then. Has absolutely no numbers, no titles except for the quote that is on the card. And so that's what I figured we would use for the exercise. So a card that represents taking the high road versus the low road. And the first card that comes up for stay. I'm trying to keep my book open as I hold the cards and be able to access it while it's yeah. So it wasn't wanting to stay. Anyways, so the first card that to me really speaks to that is the adventure card, which is the essentially the Fool card here in the deck. Now this on this card here, why did I choose this one? Well, of course, because first what we see here is we see a person, female presenting person, standing on top of a cliff with their dog. So the fact that they're standing on top of a cliff, they're overlooking to see, you know, a broader view, like they have a broader viewpoint to begin with, right? Being standing on this cliff here. So to me, it's like it's giving that image of, yes, I'm about to take that leap from the high road, right? And you know, contemplating on what to do before actually making that leap. So on this card it says adventure. The universe invites you to take the first step into the unknown. Trust that this leap will bring growth and new opportunities. While the path ahead may be unclear, it is filled with potential. Let go of fear, embrace curiosity, and allow life to unfold, excuse me, with wonder. So I love that. And right. Okay. So, let's see. What was the other one that I had? Okay. So, a path with heart. Okay. So, a path with heart. Okay. I think so. Well, there's so many cards I could choose from. And of course, this deck I put this back in order. So, yeah. Um, for this one, I chose connection. This is the connection card. So, this one says this would be the in an RWS, a typical RWS, this would be considered the Lover's card here in the of the major arcana. Um, and this one says connection. A choice or relationship is shaping your path. Follow what resonates with your heart and soul, as true alignment brings harmony and growth. Whether romantic or platonic, connection is the bridge to transformation and deeper understanding. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's to me a path with heart right there. Like, not only that, it says path. Come on. It says path right here, right? And then the talking about bridge as well, connection, bringing things into alignment. That's with heart, right? And to me, that again, that goes back to even what I always talk about, the fact that I am love and so are all of you, right? We are all created by divine source, by love, right? Even the act of it, you know? So, and I can recognize and understand that not you know, not necessarily everyone, you know, would have been necessarily created in that the act in that manner, right? We have that's where a lot of things, the darker aspects of life, trauma, you know, sort of comes in, and then that's something that then has to be worked through and unpack with, you know, the individuals involved. That's a whole another thing in and of itself. But, you know, but where we originate from spirit form, right? We're spirit beings first before we become human. So, um that's where, to me, that understanding of and having that faith and understanding of where we come from. um okay, the last one would be um on a path to peace. So, to be on a path to peace. Okay. I feel like, okay, the card that follows the Lover's card in chronological order would be the card that I would choose for this one, and that's the Chariot card here. This one is titled here, Victory, and then of course we have a phrase, um, but here we have this female presenting person, but we have her back is towards us here. Um, and of course, we have like, this is the charioteer uh, steering here, and then we have right, the dogs on both sides, sort of representing the light and the shadow, the yin and the yang. But in this case, they're kind of, they normally you have two different colored dogs. You have one representing white, one representing black, that understanding for light and shadow, that representation. And so, and as you're moving forward, right, you're on a path. But to me, this, you know, when you are in alignment, when you are balanced, when when your shadow has met the light, right? You're working your parts are working collaboratively as you continue to move forward. And so that to me is what represents the path to peace, because you're balanced. There's your light isn't overshadowing your dark, and your dark isn't overshadowing your light. They're working in harmony with one another. So that's where I see that. Hi, welcome, Megan. I'm not sure what you found funny, but okay. Me tripping over my words, probably. Yeah, good times. So there we go. So yeah, the path to victory. Okay, now the next part to this is, again, sort of the creating, and then we have several different other quotes, more, I would say, more quotes to sort of give you a, what's the word I'm looking for, an image, if you will. So a mental framework or image. Okay, so the path to our destination is not always a straight one. We go down the wrong road, we get lost, we turn back. Maybe it doesn't matter which road we embark on. Maybe what matters is that we embark. And Barbara Hall. And I feel like that is still, again, is something that is representative of this, of the Chariot card here. Because moving forward with the Chariot card, right? And I talk about the idea of having the light and the shadow, and that working in tandem as we move forward on our journeys. And when we're out of balance and out of alignment, and either our light or our shadow is overtaking the other, we can often find ourselves going down a wrong road. We may get lost, we may have to turn back. But yeah, so that's the Chariot card that I would say would go for that one as well. Okay, the next one that's here is true morality consists not in following the beaten track, but in finding the true path for ourselves and fearlessly following it. And that's by Mahatma Gandhi. And now, let's see what card I feel that would pair that. The card that really is screaming out to me right now as I, good morning. Well, good morning to you. Right now it's evening for me, but thank you for being here. The card that I feel would pair really well with that is the Seven of Wands. Let me just find it. Give me a minute here. Okay, so the Seven of Wands. Okay. So I'm going to read the card again. Oh, sorry, not read the card. Read the quote again. True morality consists not in following the beaten track, but in finding the true path for ourselves and fearlessly following it. And so to me, that really screams, hi, welcome. Thank you for joining. Annie Lynn. Thank you for being here, Annie Lynn. Yeah, so the card for this quote I felt was the Seven of Wands here. Now, again, with the, and I think I did talk about this in the latest video that I just released this morning. This card I found, actually no, I probably you wouldn't have seen this card. My bad. But this card I find is a little bit confusing because it looks like swords here on the bottom. So at first I thought this was the Seven of Swords, but no, this is the Seven of Wands. And it says here, defense. You may face opposition or challenges, but you have the strength to stand your ground. Trust in your abilities and protect what you've built. With resilience and focus, you can overcome obstacles and rise above. So this is why I feel like this card here really speaks to that quote, because it's defending true morality consists of not following the beaten track, not following the masses, right? But in finding the true path for ourselves and fearlessly following it. So that's why I picked this card here for that. And okay, let's see. The next quote we have here is, one's options in this world are as vast as the horizon, which is technically a circle and thus infinitely broad. Yet we must choose each step we take with utmost caution, for the footprints we leave behind are as important as the path we will follow. They're part of the same journey, our story. And that's by Lori R. Lopez. Okay, so the card that I feel sort of speaks to this quote is why another 7, and that would be the 7 of Cups. And so in this deck here, it is called Choices. And here it says choices, opportunities abound, but not all are as they appear. Take time to assess your options and choose with clarity. Trust your intuition to guide you toward what aligns with your truth. Avoid distractions that cloud your vision. So yeah, so I really feel like that quote really, this card really speaks to that quote, because in here we're talking about options, right? And choosing the right ones. Each step we take, taking it with the utmost caution. Well, that pretty much is what was being said here on this card. And of course, we have this person in silhouette here, who's standing in front of a bunch of what looks like containers that contain various things. So really about taking note of the various options that is available. Okay. Let's see. I am going to okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. So there's a lot of quotes in this book. So I'm just gonna pick and choose a couple more. And then we can move on to the other part of the exercise. So the next one is, there are two paths of which one may choose in the walk of life, one we are born with, and the one we consciously blaze. One is naturally true, while the other is a perceptive illusion. Choose wisely at each fork in the road. Okay. So the card that I feel sort of speaks to that one is the hang on. Nope, not that one. Okay. No, not that one. Hold on. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll show it anyways. So I was picking the 3 of Wands for this one. But knowing what I know about the 3 of Wands, and especially in this 3 of Wands, I'm not sure if this is the perfect fit, but this was the first one that came to mind, so I'm going with it. And partly because what I know traditionally of the 3 of Wands is that in the image, normally we have the person that's standing here with three wands around them. Normally, traditionally, they have one, or is that the 2 of Wands? Hold on. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it's the 2 of Wands. I think it was the 2 of Wands, actually. Oops. Hang on. No, it's the 2 of Wands I meant to show you. Okay. So it's actually the 2 of Wands, which is actually a better fit anyways. So, yeah. Hi. Welcome. So scratch that, what I was just saying. Sort of. Um this is actually the card, the 2 of Wands, not the 3 of Wands. And this one is planning. So here, yes, and this is the perfect one, because here you are standing at a crossroads, ready to expand your horizons. Take time to evaluate your options and make a plan. With focus and determination, you can set the foundation for success. The future is in your hands. Choose with purpose. And so the representation, this is what I was looking for. The representation here with that is the fact that we have the person with the wand in the hand, but he also has the globe in the other. So in the planning stage, you're taking, stock of where you want to go next, right? Planning the way forward. So, yeah. So that would be the card, actually. The 2 of Wands for that one. And okay. Let's see. I'm gonna pick one more quote. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. That one I feel really screams to the Justice card. Let's see if I can find it here. Nope. Of course, now you're out of all order, so let's see if I find it. What did you do then? You missed. Clearly, because that's cups now. Where are we? Okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So here, this is the renewal card. And here we have on the renewal, this is well, actually, this is the judgment card. Yes, the judgment card is what I was looking for. Or was it nope, it's the judgment card. Because traditionally in the judgment card, this is where now people are sort of meeting the divine. You are coming face to face with I guess judgment, the law of karma, the angels calling you, right? So in here we have people standing in what looks to be like in front of some sort of portal, and we have all of them are basically looking to see what's coming, and with anticipatory sort of anticipation. Some are in celebration, some look like they're just really curious because they don't know what's about to happen. And this one says renewal. A profound awakening is unfolding. This is a chance to shed old layers and step into your highest purpose. Embrace this moment of clarity and let it guide you to a life of deeper meaning and alignment. Yes. So again, I feel like that really speaks to that quote here, because where yeah, so how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. Annie Dillard. So in the renewal card, I feel like this now we have an opportunity to really, take stock of where we've been on our path, on our journey thus far. And as we continue to move forward, we have the opportunity to reflect and decide if we want to continue on this path or not. Do we want to elevate, take the higher road so that we are coming into true alignment with deeper understanding of life and our purpose? Or are we going to continue on to the same path, and then later on when it's all said and done, oh, I wish I did this, or I wish I did that, or I wish I didn't do that, or I didn't do this, right? Right now is the opportunity to take stock of that and change what needs to be changed for better and brighter future. So yeah, so really, I really like that. And then now for the second part of this, because there's like another 3 pages, 4 pages of like quotes that you can choose from. So, and I'm going to go through all of that because then this will be incredibly long. For the second project, you will go through your tarot deck and pick a card whose imageries contains a road or a path in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. These include Temperance, the Moon, the Ace of Pentacles. Your goal is to imagine what might lie at the end of the road or path that is pictured on the card you have chosen. When you are ready, please create a piece of artwork or a craft that represents the idea you came up with. If you like, you can incorporate one or more tarot cards into this piece of artwork. So, in this case, now I'm going to go through the deck and pick out the ones that do contain pathways, if you will. And you know what? I think I'm going to choose this renewal card to start, because even though that's not necessarily a path, it to me sort of feels like there's opportunity that lies beyond the light here that just can't be seen. So I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to go with the Chariot card, the connection. Let's see. Okay. Let's see here. Sure. Okay. So I think I've got my cards. And how I'm going to do this actually in this way, as I've picked the cards, I am actually going to let's see how many cards I picked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 15. Okay, so we have 15 cards that I chose. So now what I'm actually going to, for the sake of the fact that we're doing this together, and this is a live video, I'm actually going to take these cards, and as I am going to shuffle them, and then I'm going to lay them all out, and we're going to That's the image, the collective reading that we're going to have for today. So all the cards that I've chosen are cards that was listed in the was talked about in the book. Um all the cards that have paths or roadways or something like that, right? Um It doesn't matter from what suit, whether it's the major arcana or minor arcana, but we're going to go through it, and through this is going to be our collective reading. Okay? So, alrighty. Let me just shuffle these cards now. What from these 15 cards do we have for the collective today in regards to our path forward on this Thursday, October 9th, 2025. Okay. Okay. So the first card, oh, okay, victory. Okay. Okay. I have here. Okay, so the first card that when I shuffled the 15 cards, the first card that came out was victory. And so here, victory, you have the strength and determination to overcome challenges. With focus and balance, success is within reach. Take control of your journey and move forward with confidence. This is your time to rise above adversity and claim your victory. So, with that being the first card, the next that follows in the way that I've laid out the cards is connection. So to me, this speaks of the fact that as we go down on this path to journey, we are going to come across and many choices for relationships along the way, many interactions with others that is going to take us down this path, right? And the choices that we make, right? It's about being open with a loving heart, but also having discernment, right? Because not everyone that we meet is there out for our highest and greatest good, right? And that's something that we learn along the way, right? As we journey forward. But we always want to make sure that we are taking the high road when we journey forth, knowing that regardless of what it looks like, it's always going to be an adventure. And that, you know, where that adventure leads us is often going to be unknown. It's a mystery. Life is a mystery. We learn along the way, right? Um, so with this mystery card, it says the path ahead may feel unclear, but your intuition is lighting the way. Trust the unknown and allow it to guide you. Hidden truths will reveal themselves in time. Stay present and connected to your inner wisdom. Yes. And making sure that you're always leading with love, that you're always taking the high road, right? Because as you do that, you will find abundance. Sometimes that abundance may come with great responsibility. So we have to be mindful that when we are indulging in these things, that we in the abundance of life, we are also being mindful not to take on too much, because we can easily burn ourselves out. We are human beings, not human doings, right? We're not machines. Even though the world likes to, society likes to sort of frame it in this way, that that's all we're here to do, is just to work, pump and grind the whole time. No. Okay. So you have to be taking time out for yourself so that we're not getting overwhelmed with all that is on our path. However, sometimes with the responsibility, right? The opportunity for renewal, right? Renewal and the opportunity can often come out of times of struggle. And we have to then take the time to review. Review says you may feel disconnected or uninspired, unable to see the opportunities around you. Take time to reflect on what you truly desire. A shift in perspective can reveal the gifts already present in your life. Sometimes the abundance that we seek, right, with the responsibility, and when we may have either taken on too much, or we've overindulged, and now, you know, we find ourselves sort of lost and depleted. The opportunity for renewal comes when we take the time to review the parts that brought us to the struggle, right? But also taking the time in that to celebrate what we do have, bring recognition to the journey that we've made forth to present, celebrating all of our efforts to date, whether they brought us success or maybe hardship as well. Regardless of what you may have brought you to this point, you're still on top because you learn from your experiences, right? It may not always feel that way, but that's where that's where you have to be able to be mindful not to be gaslighting yourself into thinking, and holding on to those negatives. Because as we move through life, right, there's everything, there has to be a balance. Everything, there's going to be an ebb and a flow, right? And not everything is going to be sunshine and rainbows every single day. The weather is never like that, right? The weather, we go through our seasons. We go through, sometimes we have sunny days, sometimes we have cloudy days, sometimes it rains, sometimes it snows, depending on where you are, right? So it's about going with the flow, not allowing yourself to stay stagnant, and always taking a moment to reflect and reevaluate the path forward. Because along the journey that we go on, our ideas, our visions, our goals will change. And so when you started off on the journey, you may have had a particular destination or goal in mind. And then somewhere along the way, that gets thrown off. Either way you look at it, whether it be something you want or you didn't want, being able to go with the flow, to reflect, to be grateful for what you've learned and where you are, there's a reader, who's an astrologist, who, Alina Alive on YouTube, that I like to follow, and she often, she loves to recite this quote, and I feel like it's so true. It's not about the destination, but about the journey along the way. Right? So appreciating every step and every aspect of the journey, both the good and the bad, and finding the balance between the two to find the joy of the experience. So yeah. So I hope that you enjoy that exercise, and that if you, whether or not you have the book, if you are a tarot reader or you're a collector of tarot, you have tarot decks, and we're able to follow along with your own tarot deck, great. Let me know how that went for you. Did you agree with the cards that I chose, and excuse me, the quotes, and were there other cards that you thought might have probably fit in some of the fit better with the quotes that I was, that I spoke about? If you have the book, the tarot activity book, let me know what were some of the quotes that you chose. How did they resonate for you? What sort of ideas came to mind when I was reading the quotes? What were the images that sort of were flooding in your mind's eye? And of course, this is an exercise you can do with absolutely any tarot deck. So it wasn't exclusive to the deck that I used, of course. but I just thought it would have been fun because I really liked the images, and I liked what was it had to say on the cards, which I feel was also very fitting. So, um, yeah. So of course that's the tarot activity book by Drea Bloom, published under Andy Matzner. Like I said, I love Drea very, very much. The brilliant mind, is a psychotherapist and has a beautiful way of combining the introspection and the reflection, that sort of therapeutic practices with the use of tarot. And I feel like um, it is such a great sort of reflective way to go over things, because you know when we all learn in different ways, right? Like some of us are sort of learn better when we're reading things and we can absorb it for ourselves. Some of us are visual learners. Others of us are sort of a combination, right? um so it all depends, but I feel like tarot sort of gives you that opportunity for expansive reflection, because it gives you the opportunity to see things in a new way. um, right? The imagery varies from card to card, it varies from deck to deck. So and as we know, words, especially in English, words take on various meanings depending on the context, right? So I feel like, with anything, even with feelings, depending on the context, it may or may not fit. So it gives you this opportunity to sort of explore various outcomes, various sort of perspectives, if you will. So, yeah, so I really hope that you enjoyed this live stream with me today, going through the tarot activity book. Please let me know what you thought. Comment down below. I hope that you are taking care of your mental health, um, as I continue to journey forth on that path for myself. Yes, Thursdays are therapy days for me personally, and it's been like that for a little while now. And as I do these live streams, I feel like, um, and even these videos, it's another layer to the healing journey, if you will. And it feels really great to be able to connect, with like-minded individuals who are on a path to healing for themselves, and getting to explore these various topics and ideas, for healing, for elevation, for enlightenment, all of those things. So with all that being said, I want to thank you all so much. Thank you for those that popped in chat, and for those of you that will be watching it on playback. I want to thank you guys again. As I always say, I am love and so are you. As I see myself as human, I know you are too. So with all that being said, please remember to take care of yourself and one another. And while you're at it, don't forget about me too. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll always be in the know when I post my next video or even live stream. And as tomorrow is Global Mental Health Day, um, you know, it's 10/10. Um, as a karmic cycle breaker born on the 10th. Hi. I'm just wrapping up now though. But hopefully you'll catch the playback. And yeah, you know, born on a day that dedicated to suicide prevention. You know, my birthday was last month, September, and now we're into October, a month later. Um, and yeah, so um, with all that being said, please remember to check your privilege, mind your magic, and as always, live, listen, and learn. I love you all so much. Bye, everybody.